everyone. Thank you guys so much for your support for us to be able to go on this trip. It was such a good week, and um, it was just good. My job was to take pictures sometimes throughout the week, and so it was really good to go around and see everyone working so hard and working well together. And before the trip, I was super stressed out about random stuff like work and the surgery, and I was just stressed out. And this week was so like mentally restful for me. It was just good to be out in the mountains, have no cell reception and stuff. And there were a few moments that I was just reminded of how like big the God is that we serve, like looking up the stars and just like going on the hike and seeing how big the mountains were. And on the way back home, we were all driving and listening to worship music, and the sky was just like absolutely beautiful. It was like pink, and it was just such a good reminder, like that I can have peace because He has everything I'm worried about. He has it all figured out. So it was just a really good week. Thank you so much for your support because it was really good. So thank you.
Hello. I kept getting thoughts about where the mission trip this year would be like earlier in the spring, like in March and April. And finally in May, I decided to check with Josh, and I just was like, hey, I feel like I'm being called to go on this trip. Like, where is it? And when he said Camp Lutana, I was like, oh my goodness, I've already been there twice. Like, it'd be amazing to go back. So I was really grateful for the opportunity to serve in Montana at the camp and spend time in God's beautiful landscape. I was put in charge of painting the main building, so I really appreciated all the people that helped me paint that building and get it done. There was a lot of rain the first few days, so that kind of like made us have a little delay in starting painting, and but God brought the sun and we were able to get it all done, which was amazing. I especially want to shout out Lily Miller for getting up on the tall ladder and being up there all day and loving it, and Josh for facing his fear and getting up on the roof to paint the trim, even though he left his phone up there. So then, thanks Rachel for going up and finding it. Yeah, it was just a great week, and it's really fun to see all the teens like serving and getting along with everyone. And we just had a great week. So thank you for your support.
I want to take a moment to thank everyone who's involved in making this week a success. To those who donated time and money to go along on the trip, I also want to thank all of you who stayed home and prayed for us throughout the whole week. Um, mission trip weeks are always a great week for character building and relationship building for all of the teens and the leaders. It's always encouraging to work with all the youth who are genuinely excited to help all those around them. Even if it means repainting a building that was accidentally painted the wrong color, or climbing up on the ladder facing your fears to get the high spots. One of my highlights from the week was spending Friday helping all the guys up building the cabin. I spent the day caulking, um, moving lots of boards for them, and nailing up the wall boards. We had a great group of leaders this year, and I saw over and over each of them graciously teaching and training those around them who were not fully confident in their abilities or weren't exactly sure what they were doing. So thank you.
I am thankful to go. I was thankful for the opportunity to go to Montana to be able to see uh, God's, God's glory and His creation that He has made. The mountains were extremely beautiful. Um, what brought me joy was able to work in the shed, cleaning it out, like all the wood, all the scrap metal. That was actually really fun and like satisfying at the end to see all your accomplished work. Um, it was also wonderful to go on a hike. It was like a 12-mile hike. We went to see the ice caves, which was extremely beautiful. Just to, saw God's beauty there. Um, and even though sometimes like it's challenging to do something, you have to still get up and do it. Like painting was challenging, but like and other things like you just have to step over those fears. You have to step over and just do what needs to get done for God's glory.
So I don't really have anything prepared. Got in late, tired. went home and slept. So, um, yeah, I'm just glad I was asked to go on this trip. I about didn't go. Um, Hillcrest made it to state, and then I was like, well, I'll maybe go out there. And then I realized that Brian Renneman was going out on Monday after the fair. So I was like, okay, perfect. I'll go to the state game, watch them play, and then they'll pick me up in Carroll, and we'll go out. And then they won. So then I had a hard decision to make. I was basically, I know I asked Lawson, I was like, do you have a coin to flip? Heads all go, tails all stay. And then no, and then Liam was just like, no, go. The live stream is really good. And I was like, still on the fence. And then I was like, well, Brian and Matthew have been waiting for me for like 30 minutes, so I should probably just go with them. I would hate to make them leave late and then not end up going out. So I decided to go, and I am so glad I did. I was able to see God work through the youth. They're just hard workers. They don't complain. And if they do, I never heard it. They probably did. I just didn't hear it. But they didn't. They just had great attitudes all week. Super productive. I showed up Tuesday morning with Brian and Matthew, and Ez and Larry already had this cabin. The floor was framed up, and then some of the walls. So then I was able to kind of just hop in there and help them with that. Even though they were asking me questions, I don't know why they would do that, but they started it, they can lead it. So no, but it was great. I enjoyed working with Ez and Larry. And then the youth kind of just like whenever someone was tired of doing whatever they were doing, they would just, show up, help a little bit. But no, it was a good trip. Um, yeah, well, the ushers come forward and we'll take the morning offering. Oh, you pray with me. Dear Lord, thank you for just this past week. Safe travels out and back. Thank you for just showing your love to us here and in Montana. We have so much to be thankful for. We have great leaders in this church, and we oftentimes never take the time to tell them how thankful we are for them. All the work that they do, it really doesn't go unnoticed. And then we just thank you for all your generosity. Help us to use this offering to glorify your needs. Let us just always try to be generous and reveal Christ through our actions. Just in I pray, amen.
So you heard from the youth. I get to have those guys at my house every Sunday night. Love them. They are amazing young people. And when you see them work and do the things that they've done this past week, you wouldn't even know they're more amazing. I wanted to go. I've never been to Yellowstone National Park. Thought that would be kind of a good bucket list to get checked off on. We were eating ice cream with Ez and Don and Carol one night, and I said to Ez and Don, why don't you, let's go out early, go to the mission trip, take a couple days, drive through Yellowstone, and then it's like 3.5 hour trip up to Lewiston. And I figured I'm closer then than I am right now, being in Iowa. I had to leave early on the Sunday before we left, so I didn't stay for Sunday school. Got a text from Josh saying, hey, is Ez and Don going to the mission trip? I go, I don't know. Called Ez on Monday. Yeah, I think we're gonna go. Don, not sure she's gonna go, but I think I want to go. He said, you called Don. I called Don. She goes, yeah, well, Ez says we're going. So we left on Friday, drove through the Tetons, drove through Yellowstone, and then up to Lewiston on Sunday. Um, that was just incredibly incredibly good trip for me to see God's beauty. I guess is the way I want to put that. Just things you look at that and you think this didn't happen 300 million years ago, like the little signs say. Um, and then something else happened and something else happened and going, why don't you put down there that God made this for our enjoyment, for his pleasure, instead of saying 300 million years ago, this happened and that happened. Honestly, none of those guys have lived 300 million years ago, so they don't really know that it really happened that way. I'm pretty sure. Uh, so one of the big jobs at the camp that they wanted was a new cabin built. Um, they had the pilasters, I call them pilasters, the little places to set the floor in the cabin on. The first picture I took was Ez standing there looking around, and I think the caption would be like, what did I get myself into? Um, so I was grateful for Ez to be there. Dennis Chittick went along, and he's a tremendous worker, great help. We figured out during the week that there's three ways of doing things. There's Larry Pickard's way of doing things, there's Ez Schrock's way of doing things, and then there's the right way of doing things. And Dennis was kind of a referee, and he got a chuckle out of us going back and forth. And then London comes along, and holy cow, things happen. Uh, London doesn't waste too many steps and gets things done fast. And for an old guy, it's fun to watch a young guy be able to move that fast. And, I remember when I used to be able to run, or at least now I can still spell it. That's about it. We were able to finish that cabin. It was a long process. We got interrupted a few once of rain. A couple days we had to quit early because of the raining and stuff. So, but all in all, it was a good week. Great week with the youth. They, again, I think it's been said before that they never complained about what they had to do. They may not have liked the job, but they did it with grace and without complaining. So it was good. That was a big help to get that job done for them, all the things that we did. If you ever get a chance to go on a mission trip with the youth, do it. Do it. It's a fun time. I'm not sure Brian Brenneman came out later. I'm not sure what the deal was, but we passed Brian twice. Once he was sitting beside the road and there was this flashing lights behind him. Not sure what that was about. I think the cop was asking for directions, but I'm not sure. I found out this morning that there was one in one state and one in another, and I didn't even know that one. So, one thing that I appreciated about a couple of youth that I want to shout out to, in this cabin we were building, I was putting in the windows, and Jason was helping put in the windows, and Brett. And we put one in and we showed him how we're doing it, and went and got the other ones putting it in. And then I had to go to up. Our phone service is not good there, so I had to go up by the office to make a phone call to Dean to bring us some more material. And when I got back, I went to the trailer to get out another window. Like, where's that window at? Those guys picked up that window, went up and put it in by themselves, just by what they'd seen. They were awesome. So I took the other window up and said, here it is. And they put that one in, and then I showed them how to do the screws on the side and walked away. And so those guys did really awesome. Just want to shout out to them how they picked up on that and did it on their own. That's my part of it. Give us opportunity for announcements and sharing. Wait, Justin wants to talk.
I thought I'd fill in a few of the cracks in what I've heard so far. So last night I came home and talked to Beckett. He helped Larry, Ez, and Dennis on that shed. And I think they were given a pile of lumber and the pylons or whatever you called those things and no instructions. And he learned that whoever expresses their opinion the most passionately wins out. He called it arguing. I don't know. He said, I just stood there while they argued. But they got it all done. So it's hard when you don't know, if you don't have instructions. And it looks, I'm assuming the material came out about right at the end. You guys didn't run out. So I think Josh and I taught the youth that being middle age is just complaining about your back every time you get out of the van at the gas station. On the way there, it was terrible. On the way back, our backs were great. So I don't know if it was the humidity or exercise, who knows. All of Camp Lutana is on a hill, and it's amazing how tired we got. I genuinely dreaded walking to the other side every time. I don't know about you, Larry. Justin Lichty had a one wheel, so it's like a skateboard with one wheel, and it was annoying to watch him just glide effortlessly across. I hopped on, it was terrifying. I hopped right back off. The first time we took a van up to a mountain view like the first night, and the land is so much different. And it was just the Missouri River out in the valley, and it's crazy to think we drove 1,200 miles and all this water is still going to the Mississippi. And the water was much clearer out there. I did the shorter hike because the one to the ice caves was 12 miles long. I was like, I can't do that up a hill. So we did 3 miles with half the youth group. That was a highlight. My real highlight was we inner tubed down a river. It was so cold, but it was so much fun. I did it twice. It was, yeah, the youth were great. It's amazing. You don't realize till you get home like how I'm not used to these trips. So like as a sponsor, you're kind of nervous because you're responsible for all these people. And when I got home, it was just a relief but it was unfounded because you guys didn't cause too many problems. They did the rodeo. You guys know? Did anyone miss the rodeo? The county fair was going on that week, so that was a nice thing to do in the evening. Apparently I love rodeos. I didn't even know that. Yeah, the food was awesome. I did learn I did some mechanical work for 2 days and realized I just missed being part. I could hear the singing and the cha-cha slide and whatever all that stuff was. And so I was thankful that Brian came and he did the mechanical work and I got to paint and just be with the kids because you learn their personalities. Madeline, I wanted to shout you out for staying awake and talking to Josh and I. It was just, I mean, 2 people can have conversation, but when there's a third person, and you're sitting there for 17 hours, I did appreciate it, and I learned a little bit about you, so I thank you for that. So I think that's all I got. Thank you.
I forgot about the rodeo. One of my fun things is to talk to people and do stupid things. So I was looking, somebody walked by with one of these little ice cream bars, and I thought, I want one of those. So I didn't ask them where they got it, saw somebody else, and I said, where did you get that? So they told me. So I went into that little booth, and there was a lady there, and I said, I want one of those ice cream bars. She said, I have a couple of questions to ask you. Do you want dark chocolate or milk chocolate? I said, milk chocolate. And she asked me another, and I don't remember what that one was. So I got one more question. I go, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I'm not giving you my phone number. And she laughed and had a good time. And then she asked me what I wanted, and I told her. When I got done, I went back by that booth and we went into the rodeo, and I said, that was really delicious. Why don't you call me sometime? So anyway, time for sharing. And today we're going to have one of the youth to help pass the mic around. So Dennis, if you wouldn't mind doing that. And maybe even share a couple of great moments while you're at it.
I've been asking for about a year to do this, and I finally got them talked into letting me do it. So. Right, we're done. Anybody?
This is Mal Lichty. Yes, thank you, sponsors, we had half of our children there, so for getting them home safely, that was great. This Friday is Jeremy's transplant day, so just prayers that his body it can be a successful restart for him. And for Taryn, so we'll travel up Thursday afternoon, and she'll have her little surgery 7 a.m. They'll collect for about an hour, and then as soon as her anesthesia's off, we can head home.
What time did you say that was? Friday?
I just feel like I have to give a little input for the weekend and a disclaimer. Most stories that you hear about things that I did, don't believe them.
What time is it?
A little background when Larry had said he asked if we wanted to go, and we were kind of like, no, I don't think so. And we've got appointments, we've got this and that going on that week. And then Don had that sermon on serving that next Sunday. And as soon as he was done, Ez looked at me and he said, "We're going, aren't we?" And I'm like, I suppose we should. We really should. So, canceled some appointments, moved things around, and we are glad we went. We're kind of exhausted now. Yeah, a lot of hard work. I loved being inside cleaning when hearing the girls. Sometimes it was tunes from Greece that they were singing up on the ladders. Then at one time they were doing kind of a hymn sing upstairs. Grace was playing the piano. It was just great listening to them. So yeah, it was a good week, and I must admit too, there was a little bit of arguing up on the building. I got better at a nail gun where I didn't scream every time it went off. Yeah, a lot of things. I really enjoyed the balloons and the bricks at night when we had our group together. We would say what our balloons were for the day, the good things from that day, the bricks, maybe something that wasn't so good or something we struggled with in our groups, and that was really good to hear. Some of them were entertaining, kind of funny. Some were more serious. But yeah, we had a good week. Long trip, but good week.
I normally don't share, but I got to share this one. We stopped at Yellowstone at a pullout to look out over the scenery there or whatever, and guy comes up to Larry and says, "So you from Kalona?" And Larry says, "Yeah." And he says, "Well, we're from Moscow." So we talked to him a little bit or whatever, and Larry gets back in the vehicle and says, "That guy is a genius. How did he know we were from Kalona?" And we said, "Well, look at your shirt. You got a Kalona Post shirt. Here's your sign."
And Ez says, "Here's your sign." And Don goes, "Seriously?"
I'm gonna take this story before anyone else does. I'm Ruth Widoff. So we were hiking on a 3.1 mile hike on the way back, and I was watching a TV show on my phone. And Lily Miller and Shannon were behind me. And then I fell. I tripped, I fell, and I rolled over, and I paused my TV show, and Shannon goes, "Are you watching a movie?" And I go, "No, I'm watching my TV show." And then I stand up, and then I run away, and then Shannon starts laughing as hard as she can, and I can hear her laughing when I'm running away.
So to add to the phone and Ruth, if Ruth was ever not in the building with everybody else, there was one spot upstairs on the couch where everybody knew where Ruth was. She was on her phone watching something. So if you ever needed Ruth, you just went up there first thing. Just to share, it was a great time. going with everybody. It was like July 3rd. Denise said, "Hey, got an email. Anybody else want to go help?" And I was like, "Oh," so I got things arranged with work. I was just wondering. I was like, "Why, why is this working out and everything else?" Well, I figured it out once I get out there. Ez, can you come up, please?
I don't know where
Oh, you stay right where you're at.
I'm still.
Yes, it didn't take long Monday morning when we went out to, you come on this side, Ed. You stand over here. There, you stand about right back over here. There we go. Have any of you seen the movie Grumpy Old Men? Oh boy. So to start out with this, it was the three of us. Didn't take me long to figure out why I was out there. Somebody had mentioned the referee before, and I never even thought about it. If I could have brought a shirt today, a referee shirt, I would have wore it. So yeah, we started out, and these two are so pleasant. Back and forth and back and forth. And so anyway, no, everything went good. Like I said, we started out with little posts in the ground and cement posts, and there was a building package. There was a few instruction. They said, "Well, here, good luck," was pretty much. So these guys did great, everything. So that was Monday, and then Tuesday. So now, I don't know if you guys saw the picture.
A moron.
So Tuesday rolls along. London, come up. Stand in the middle. So we've got one guy here, Putz, who's like, "It's close enough. Just nail it." Moron. Is it lined up or not? And then we got London throws in there. It's like, "It better be right on." One quote from Putz was, "They should have never put a 16th on a tape measure." London's up there yelling out, inching a 16th, and then pretty soon, "They should have never put a 16th on a tape measure." So yes, it was a great experience, and I enjoyed all of it. Yes, there was a lot of back and forth. I want to do a shout out to all the kids, young people, that did stuff that they didn't want to do. There was a bunch of it that they did it. They went ahead, no complaining, or not a lot anyway. So, but it was a very good time, and I wish I could have had a film crew with us just at the cabin. We'd have had a movie, and you'd be laughing the whole time. So thank you guys.
You know, that's the last time we'll let you carry that mic on announcements and sure. Ain't gonna happen again. Let's have a word of prayer and then we'll turn it over to Josh for closing. Got a few comments. Father, just want to thank you. Thank you for this past week with the youth and thank you for the safety you've given us traveling to and from. Thank you that we can enjoy the beauty that you have created in this world. Thank you for the efforts and the things that the youth did and just great mission trip. And Father, I thank you also for the Lichty family. I pray for Taryn that you would give her peace and calm during this time of going into the surgery to help Jeremy. And I pray that everything would go well there. I pray that that would stem cell would take care of the cancer that's in his body. And I pray that you would just walk beside walk beside them, the Niemeyers and the Lichties, and just be with them, hold them in your right hand. May we be in prayer for them on Friday. May we just give you honor and praise and glory. Again, thank you this past week. I want to thank you for what you've done for us, especially for the youth that we have in this church and the leaders. Great people and great people that love you and serve you. And so pray these things in your name. Amen. Josh?
Just so you know, Dean and Jerry Sane are people that I deeply love and appreciate. No one at Camp Lutana gets paid. Nobody. It's all volunteer. Dean and Jerry get a stipend and they're able to live there and what they do, but he has to work in the off season and they don't have much. And so for us to show up and invest into a camp that is limited in resources and to bless Dean and Jerry just makes my heart happy. The front of the bulletin, Matthew 5:16, Jesus is teaching us, in a way to live. And he says that as Christ followers, we are a light on a hill to be seen, not to be hidden, but to be seen. And he says, in the same way, you let your light shine before others, before men, that they may see your good deeds or your good works or how you live, what you are doing with your hands, and give praise or give glory to God in heaven. And it's so hard coming off these mission weeks to describe to you how you are a first-hand witness to Christ followers revealing Christ well. In living in a way, in speaking in a way, in interacting in a way, in living in community in a way that simply brings God glory to everybody who witnesses it. Those guys were joking about how they worked on that building. They worked so hard. I am thankful for Ez and for Larry and for Dennis, willing to show up and work so hard. So thankful for London and his expertise and all of them being able to do something that we would never be able to do without them. And the thing that I love about our leaders in going is that they are full of joy. It was hard work, but we loved every single minute of it. And that's something that we are called to develop as Christ followers, to find joy in wherever we are at and whatever we are doing. And so we serve and so we give this blessing, but in return, I think if you talk to anyone, we were blessed. I shared a couple just statements in the bulletin on the right-hand side as you open it up. Ministry is not a job that we are obligated to do. Service is not something we grudgingly force ourselves to do. Service is a joy and it is a privilege. It is a way of life that both gives and receives blessing. Servanthood is part of our identity in Christ. This is the way Jesus calls us to live. This is the way to life and life overflowing. It is our honor to serve as hands and feet of Jesus. I'm so thankful for the leaders who showed a life that loves God and loves other and how to live this week. They spoke of no complaining. I never heard a single word of complaint. There was one, Angelina, it was one of my favorite moments. She painted all morning and we went back and we kind of went through and we got it. It looked great. And Angelina was like, I'm done. I'm terrible at this. I'm done. And I said, no problem, we'll move it. She went and worked really hard somewhere else, and she's always volunteering to get things done. And in that afternoon, I came around the corner, and she's painting again. And she knew she was frustrated, but she's like, this needs to be done, and I'm going to do it, right? To grow in grace and revealing Christ in a way that just impacts and influences others. The second part that was written in here is the greatest way to serve and impact the youth is simply to be a living example. Show them how to love God and love your neighbor. Show them what it means to follow Jesus and call him King. Let them see what authentic faith and trust looks like. Jesus truly is the way, the truth, and the life. Show them the life that flows from following Jesus. Teach them what it means to believe in the truth. Reveal the way he has called us to walk in. Teach them what it means to believe, follow, and reveal Jesus. So thankful for Dean, for Ez, for Don, for Dennis, for Larry, for Madeline, Angelina, Rachel, Taryn, London, and Justin, who truly showed the teens this week what it means to live with an authentic faith. I walk away from these weeks and I just am filled with so much joy. Probably my favorite moment was traveling back. Justin, Madeline, and I were talking, and Madeline and we were reminiscing of all the different mission trips and all these different memories of different people who were involved in different ministries we were at, and to remember just such a blessing. To see a Taryn, to see a Rachel, Madeline, and London, to see them grow into their faith, to become a man, become women who follow Jesus Christ well, who carry an authentic faith. I believe I identify with Paul, who says, "You fill me with such joy when I see you walking in obedience." God was good this week, and we are thankful. We are so thankful. Close with a hymn, and we have some photos from the week. Thank you as a church for all that you do for the youth and all the ways that you support us.